Welcome to Planning Phase Syndicate. I'm your host, Christopher Tanner, and we are airing episode number 12. Yes, folks, it is finally episode 12. It's weird. It almost feels like we've been doing this for 3 months, and I know we haven't, but it's almost what it feels like we have been doing. Tonight, talking about precise calculations? Nah, no more droid stuff. None of that tonight, because we know CIS does not ever outmaneuver very well. Unless you're Grievous, then I'll grant you that. With that being said, we are going to talk a lot tonight about outmaneuvering. If you watched our game earlier tonight, you'll be able to see all of the different outmaneuvering techniques Matt used to crush my Jedi squad. Which, again, that's what aces do, and that's why aces can be very good, especially if you know how to play them. Which I think is Matt's favorite play style, but we won't tell him. We won't tell him because I don't want him to keep using that to crush me every time. We're also going to look at some of the newer cards, and we're going to kind of talk about some of the different pilots that do affect us when we do some outmaneuvering. With that being said, let's bring in my co-host tonight, Mr. Matthew Swanson. How are you tonight, sir? Good. Hopefully he's good. He's muted. You got to unmute yourself.
Yeah, I'm having lovely computer issues too. So, hi. I don't know why I'm Swanson though, but I don't know. I'll join the Swanson Pyramid of Excellence any day.
There you go. We got to get some bacon, some eggs, some ham, some hash browns, and I don't know, like 7 or 8 waffles. There you go.
Breakfast food's always the best food.
With that being said, we are definitely going to have an amazing night. Charles was not able to make it. He is going through hurricane season. So I told him, go ahead and sit tonight out. We wanted Matt's hot takes anyway. So got to get some juicy hot takes from Matt. With that being said, how was your week, Matt? I haven't talked to you since earlier today.
Right. Yeah. Since not long ago. Busy week. But otherwise, it's been pretty good. How was your week, Chris?
Pretty good. I have a last week was not quite as busy. Work-wise, it was pretty busy. But next week, or I guess, is Sunday the beginning of the week? I don't know anymore. If Sunday's the beginning of the week, then this current week is going to be super busy because we have a new in-person game that will be or new in-person thing in Grand Rapids, Michigan, that I'm going to be going to play some in-person gaming for X-Wing tomorrow. And hopefully I'll be able to perfect my Jedi list enough before I get to play in the GSP tournament next week, Saturday. I'm also going to be I'm going to be doing an epic battle, I believe, next Friday. And
squid on the table.
Yeah, depending on what we do, I don't know if we'll record it and play it back for everybody. I don't know how that's going to work. We've also added a thing in on Thursdays. We are going to be doing live game streaming every Thursday now from 7 to 10 roughly. I can't guarantee we'll always start at 7. It just kind of depends on the kids. But it's between 7 and 8 we'll start, and we'll end between 10 and 11 typically. Unless I don't have to work on Friday, then we'll be streaming until whenever I pass out or Charles passes out. If you would like to, you're more than welcome to actually join our stream team. If you want, you can type !Discord into the thing. Actually, I'll just do it for you. We'll do !Discord. That will give you the link to our Discord channel. You can sign up. There's a streamer thing where people can sign up to stream or commentate. If you do commentate, you got to have a decent enough mic that you're not like breaking up all the time. So, but we are looking this week. I believe we're going to be doing kind of some janky lists, and that's kind of what I'm hoping that we're going to get out of Thursday. So we'll see, though. We'll see. I don't know. Depends on what everybody comes up with. We also have if you join the Discord, there is a streamer suggestion tab right in the Discord. You're welcome to submit a question to say, hey, we would like to see this. At minimum, we'll have some of the hosts and things playing the games, but essentially we will also take requests and have anybody that wants to join us on stream can. And if you're just like, well, I want to see somebody win with Defender Vader, we could try to make that happen. We could try. I can't guarantee it though, because I've only seen it win a few.
Play it, man. John does really well with Defender Vader, man.
Yeah, I think John does well with everything. We'll
Well,
just put it
that's
that
probably
way.
true too. So yeah, we'll make John play whatever people want to see. Then let's do it
There
that
you
way.
go. John hit it. Last night, Saturday, we actually, if you want to go back, they aren't up on YouTube yet, but they are on Twitch. Charles and I played some games together. We ran the Jedis, and we actually took a request for the chat for a Boba Nim squad. So they actually, weirdly enough, without even knowing Charles that well, they picked a scum squad, and then Charles was able to
That's
go through it.
crazy.
Yep. And because of I made one mistake in how I set up my dials, and that kind of ended the game. Gave Charles the advantage there. But,
well, and it has to also be said though that Charles has a lot of experience with Scum. So if you're going to run something, running Scum with it, Charles is basically you're giving him an advantage there, at least to a point. So
yeah, which is okay. Got to give Charles some of the advantages at some of the times.
Right. No, I thought it was never any advantages for him. Isn't that the rule that we always go by in this room? I don't remember.
Well, tonight's episode, with precise calculations comes precise maneuverability. And we wanted to do some discussion on outmaneuvering. So, Matt, if you want to give us just a real quick high-level outline of what you're going to cover through outmaneuvering, that would be amazing.
Sure. So outmaneuvering is basically how a ship gets behind another ship or out of a firing arc, depends on where those are. So we're going to talk about when you can outmaneuver, or when it is most advantageous or most available to outmaneuver. Basically, and we're going to go through initiative. We're going to talk about the ship's maneuver abilities, and then which opponent is player one. Then we're going to talk about how to achieve some of those outmaneuvering times and abilities. A lot of that's going to be when you take a bid, ship abilities, double repositioning in the ships, which is basically linked actions as well, and just when you can do a boost and barrel roll, so the double reposition basically again. So that's the high level outline, sir.
All right. So where do you want to start? Do you want me to bring TTS up? How do you want me to do this whole?
Well, we can. I basically am just going to kind of discuss it a little bit, guys. So outmaneuvering, like I basically started out this whole thing by saying, is when you can get your opponent's ship in your firing arc and you are not in your opponent's firing arc. Always best to be able to shoot them while they're not shooting you. I think that's right. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, typically that is correct. It's any time that you get a shot that nobody else gets a shot, or you get a primo shot whereas somebody's taking a disadvantage shot. I'll throw both of those into the caveat there.
No. Yeah, that's true too. So I suppose that's true. If you can line up a clean shot where you're basically hiding behind clouds, so that when you're having shots coming in at you, they're going to be obstructed, and when you're shooting out, basically you have a clean shot. That is another really good sign of, I guess, outmaneuvering, not for the talent card, but it is actually definitely higher level maneuvering, which is great.
Yeah.
So every ship actually can be, even your droids, Chris, can actually be the ships that are outmaneuvering. The trick to that is to having the initiative. So even an I-1 against a swarm of other I-1s could be an outmaneuvering ship or an acing ship. Instead of going for the blocks, you would instead go for an attempt to outmaneuver. Now, that being said, you're not going to be outmaneuvering much in a Bosk YV666. It's just not happening. So you have to take into account the ship's maneuverability. But every ship has the ability to outmaneuver its opponents by going second if it has a reposition, I think would be a better way of saying it. Now, technically, I suppose you can always outmaneuver regardless, but it's easier to do with a reposition.
Yeah, and I think, I do think Bosk can outmaneuver, let's say, right? And I say that only because there's things with Bosk that he can do. For example, that if you aren't expecting the stop maneuver, right? And we all know that silly Lando shuttle can coordinate him an action. He then does a stop. He stays there. Gamet keys something from the turn before. There's a lot of options. And so if you're, and I've done this before against Charles, actually, if I'm playing a droid swarm and I bring my droids in and I move them so that I'm facing him. We shoot, engage. Next turn, he doesn't have that stress, right? Then I actually do a maneuver, forget that he can do the stop, go in for a block, rotate my droid. I'm now outmaneuvered because he outplayed me in a position. Um,
Right.
and I think that's very important to that discussion is that same way as technically, even if my droid is, if Bosk is doing that, if my droid does a K turn, right, which they don't do very often, but they can do it. They do a turnaround maneuver. It puts them behind Bosk or puts them out of Bosk. Technically, I am outmaneuvering that ship as long as he can't shoot me. as long as he
Right.
can't shoot me. Um,
Yeah, I mean, so that's just basically variations on kind of it, but basically that is I would say that's almost more of an outmaneuvering, which if you know your opponents or your opponent didn't think of something like Chris just said, you had lost the stress or whatever it is. Maybe they don't like a great example is the HMPs. Those don't necessarily have the ability to outmaneuver much. Well, I'm sorry. They don't have the high initiative rather to outmaneuver, but what they do have is those well, I don't even know what are they called. Those new like I don't know. What is it called again, Chris? The side slip. That's what it is.
there you go, side
Side
slip.
slip.
Yep.
Yeah. So when you can do the side slips, it's those side slips that people aren't used to that are really where the outmaneuvering comes from. So that is a different type of outmaneuvering, which I guess I didn't discuss, but you're right. Technically, 100% true. You can just outplay to outmaneuver your opponent, which a lot of ace players, there is a little higher threshold to play about playing aces. It is not necessarily the trickiest thing or the easiest thing. I would say after you've played for a little while, you can probably be a little bit more proficient at it. It is tricky to be an ace player from the get-go. There are some people that have those skills right off the bat, but just to let you know. So basically, if you are looking to outmaneuver, you want your opponent to be first player, and you want to have higher initiative ships, generally speaking, if you're looking to outmaneuver. So, and also, hey, we didn't even discuss it, right? What's one of the most important bits of X-Wing? The dial. So, a good dial, high initiative ships, and a bid are what I'm going to say so that you can definitely move forward into taking things on your side, basically, to being that player one, that being that sorry, so sorry about that, being that player one, having that initiative, having that ability to outmaneuver. So for sure. Okay,
Yep.
so
You want me to
sorry,
go ahead
Chris,
and
go ahead.
bring it up?
Yeah. Let's go ahead and go into this stuff. So first things first, you're going to want to take a bid, and then next you're going to look at your ships and see what different maneuver abilities they have. I've kind of brought a few ships up, and I've kind of put a few examples in to TTS, so we can kind of get a little bit of an idea and maybe a little bit of an idea how this play is going to work out. So with the different types of outmaneuvering, I mean, there's multiple types, but we're going to just go over a few of them. So uh, if you take your bid and you have your more maneuverable ships, one of the things that comes up is ship abilities, and I'm going to say linked actions. So we're going to start first with our example here. We have two tie barons, right? So red's moved, but this tie baron, seventh sister, has a higher initiative. So it moved second, it moved here. And red, if you look, red has a shot right here onto this tie baron at range 2. So that tie baron can just sit there and take a focus, or it can attempt to outmaneuver. So if seventh sister boosts to the right, instead of staying where it was at, and then taking its linked action of a focus for stress, now we might be looking at a different situation. So let's see what we got here now. So instead of having seventh sister at range 1, you'll notice that there is no shot on seventh sister, but seventh sister has an outmaneuvered or a shot on the red tie baron. So by using those maneuvering abilities and using kind of your knowledge of board state where you can set your ships and different things like that, you will see a different ability as to where you can take shots, how you can take shots, how you might be able to move your ships. So sometimes when you are lined up at range 2, there does seem to be a good time where you can give this an attempt to see if you can actually dodge that arc. Sure, that's happened to you, Chris.
Yep. And so there you have. So I'll bring up the Tie Baron card. So here is a Tie Baron. You can see that he has the barrel roll to focus, boost to focus. You know, of course they're red maneuvers, but it gives them the ability to do things others can't.
Mhm. So another option when you are doing this is, let's say you move Echo here again, by Baron here. Now you moved Echo right here into this position. So what you're going to want to do with Echo is you're going to want to barrel roll, and you're going to want to barrel roll pilot. Oh, this is going to be harder for me.
To the right.
Pilot left, and you're going to want to try to make sure that you end up with a range. So I'm going to say if you barrel roll all the way to the back. So now you take that shot. Sorry, we should have done this. Let's do this again. All right, so you notice you have Echo at range 1. But if you do barrel roll pilot right, and you pick, I think probably forward's fine too. Probably all of them would be fine. Now you'll notice that she's no longer in arc, but Echo now has an outmaneuvered shot back at the Tie Baron. So it is beneficial to do some of those maneuvering tactics as opposed to picking up some of the modifiers sometimes, right, Chris? So
Yep.
you know what I mean, right?
Yeah, because what you're getting is and the difference is you're getting a shot on that Tie Baron, and you're taking that Tie Baron's shot away. So not only, and hold on, I gotta zoom out to get that other guy in there. So not only because you're doing that with him, you may not be able to get as much damage, but you're guaranteeing that you don't have to roll green dice. You just guarantee it. It's like, nope, I'm not gonna have to roll green dice today. And hence that's why, typically aces can outmaneuver lower initiative ships in non-swarm atmospheres because it's a lot harder. And again, take the game earlier that I played with the 3 Jedi Knights. They could reposition too, but you know what? You can't reposition if Vader's going to be able to go after you. So that's kind of the huge tactic right there.
Mhm. So another one that we don't see a lot, and I guess I use Vader here with afterburners for everybody who needs to know that, because obviously the TIE Advanced X1 generally does not have the abilities to boost. So we'll assume that he did a 3 maneuver and that he's sitting here like this to this TIE Baron. If you notice, they both have shots. They're almost parallel to one another. So if you've done this, you can boost to the pilot right, like so. And then you have the option to also barrel roll. So this allows you to barrel roll. Oops, not the right way. Cancel. Sorry. And then you barrel roll. So now you've double repositioned, and you probably have even picked up a little bit more range, as well as having a little bit more. Definitely, very outmaneuvered, right? So I was able to get there when they were lined up parallel. So for everybody in the chat there, I probably saw that there. Sometimes it isn't necessary always to do that, but if they were a little closer, sometimes it is necessary to do the double reposition, which obviously would give you a little bit more range. So you do see this a lot with like Sunter Fell, for instance, Chris. You'll see where they will pull in, right? So the other thing that I want to discuss real quick, if you notice here, a lot of these, you'll notice that the range is very, very close. So it's easier to outmaneuver if you're very, very close. Because when you are that close, every little adjustment is a big adjustment when you're talking about those firing arcs. So getting close is a trick, but obviously you don't want to be so close you're bumping. So it's kind of one of those what do you call it, where it's running a gauntlet basically, right?
Yeah. Well, and I think, one of the keys too is when you want to get rid of them, you want to avoid, you want to not have to take the damage as a non-ace player, right? Is either you want to go in and block or you want to keep your. So you can see here in this scenario, the Baron's net is way too wide, way too wide. So what you would want to do is maneuver your Barons into a different formation, and you have to kind of pick a target and take it down. Um, and if it's Vader, you're gonna have to deal with all his force. If it's Echo, you have evades and cloaks. You know, and if you're
Well,
shooting Echo range 3, she's getting 3 dice. Like it's a 3 dice
right,
Echo at that point.
right. Well, and the other thing too, and this is kind of pretty quickly here, you can kind of see how this can fall apart if you happen to be the second player. Now we can switch the tables and say that those people all moved, but now let's see what we have as an option. For instance, yellow here did its maneuver and it can boost right. And now totally out of Echo's Echo's arc there, right? So all you had to do was just that simple maneuver. Red also can boost, and I think we're going to boost right with red as well. Now, though you have continued to stay in the arc, you have actually not been outmaneuvered. You have maneuvered yourself into the firing range. So not necessarily bad. Now, pink doesn't have as many options, but pink can always attempt to flee the situation. I think probably the best thing to do would be boost left, and I think that might get you to range 2. But either way, not always is it a possibility, but sometimes you can definitely get yourself into some better shooting positions by going second. So there are some options, but if you notice, by getting yourself in close there, you did look like give yourself the best opportunity to outmaneuver your opponent. So getting in close, giving yourself the initiative, getting ships that are maneuverable and have the ability to either link or double reposition is what we call it, where you can both barrel roll and boost. And then also linked actions can work in lieu of that. So if you do have just the focus, but you do want to make sure if you are attempting to do this with a ship that isn't a double reposition ship, you can either add afterburners or you have the ability to both barrel roll and boost on your action bar, because that's going to be kind of key. You have to have both the ability to move or shift as well as boost. Both of them at the same time are obviously the best, but you can definitely do one or the other in a clinch action. So get initiative, get them maneuverable ships, get those linked actions, double reposition if you can, and grab your opponents by the tail, if you will. Is there anything I
Alrighty.
missed, you think, Chris?
No, I think that really covers it. Again, like I said, the idea is how can you. People don't like to play against aces, especially when you first start playing, for the pure fact that they can outmaneuver you so much easier if you don't know where they're going to be. So I think one of the big things is learn the aces dials. What are the aces? What are the common combinations? And what are the dials? For example, those phantoms, decloak. Echo, a lot of people have switched to, or I mean, how about this? I have switched to Echo for the pure fact that he moves in the bendy barrel roll formation, just like the Star Viper, and very similar to the side slipping HMPs. So one of the big things is if you want to counter this, and that's kind of the big thing, it's your 3s are not going to move after this 4. Your 3s are not going to move after this 6. But if you know Vader can come in here, then in slow roll, right? I can't move you back, but if you could, can you move pink back? So if you know that, you don't come in as hard. And what you would do is you would ensure that Vader just can't get an outmaneuver shot on you. Or you use pink to block and you bring yellow in behind. That's another tactic. Let's block up the aces. You know where they're going to be. Stop them from doing their maneuvers. Force them to do very unproductive maneuvers. Know what their turnaround maneuvers are. Because, fine, let them have an outmaneuver shot on you at range 3 with nothing to modify it but force or nothing. Like
Right.
Echo here, you can do a turnaround maneuver, but if Echo's not range 1 and Echo's range 3 with his turnaround, but her turnaround maneuver, the probability is very low that they're going to eke any damage in. That's just a fact, All right. So why don't we bring up let's do that. Let's bring up the new cards. So now we're getting into Wrath. Wrath is your FO. So I know you missed kind of the Whisper thing. Hopefully you went and looked it up. These Whispers are insane. I've already got 2 packs if ordered, if not 3. So
they look pretty good. They look pretty effective, but they're like kind of like the Interceptor, right? They're like an upgraded Interceptor, but like they're an Interceptor mixed with an SF, right? Where they have that ability to change that arc around, but it has to be like the turret. Is that right, Chris?
Yep.
If it's like if you like have an ordnance, it's interesting. Oh, and the droid that was up last time, a thing to remember is he is unique, so you're only going to get one of them on a squad.
Yep.
That's at least something.
So Wrath is the new ship that was spoiled. So we went over Kylo the other week. After you perform a front bullseye attack, if you have one or more non-lock red or orange tokens, you may perform a bonus attack against a different target. So if you have your thing pointed out the rear, you do the bullseye attack in the front. Guess what? Now I'm doing a shot in the back. And on top of that, it's an I-5. It's an I-5. Like, this is good. I love this ship. I love the ship already. Like, this is my second new favorite ship. And again, I have 100%. I've already ordered. I went into my LFG and I ordered 2 packs of these. And I said, if you find out that they're going to be constrained, just get me 3 or 4 of them. I'll just take them now, and then I'll sell off the other bombers because I don't think I need 8 bombers. I'll never be able to fly them all. But I want all those. I want these, and I wish they would release these separate too, so I could buy both of them. I don't need 8 bombers to get 4 of these Whispers, but I don't know what else to do to get them. And I do want to run at least 4 of these.
Yeah, I don't know, honestly, Chris. I have no idea. They are really cool though. I like how the beefy they are. They're another heavy fighter for the First Order faction. It is a tough ship. I mean, at I-5, you're going to see, I think, a lot of double shooting out of Wrath because it doesn't say anything like, doesn't say primary weapon. So it could be the turret weapon, could be whatever. So it doesn't have to actually be that Wrath, which is crazy.
Yep. And if they do decide to release a solo, that would make everything easier for the rest of us. But look at what they did with the CIS faction. You can't get that Beelzebub ship without buying that stupid pack. You know how many freaking droids I don't need? I don't need any more of those vultures. You know what would be nice if I had 5 of those? You know how many of those stupid Beelzebubs I have? 2. You know why? Because I didn't need to, because I bought Vulture. I had to buy the individual Vulture pack back in the day to get the stupid ass Discord missile that you couldn't get because it didn't come in this one pack. It was the dumbest release I've ever seen. But I do hope they put this one in a separate pack. I don't need the bombers in the pack. I just want this ship. That's all I care about. Because I bet you these ships are going to come in at between 30 and 40 points. For the I-1s,
they're going to be at least 40.
Or I-3s,
they're going to be at least 40 points. You're not going to be able to put more than 4 or 5 of them on a list. I don't think they're that much power. Well, they're like a TIE SF, I guess, but they're better than a TIE SF. Only slightly. What's an SF? Yeah, you probably can get 5. You might be able to get 5.
Yeah, we don't know. I don't know, but I do like this ability. I think this. I do like that they are making a little bit of a caveat that if you have one or more non-locked red or orange tokens, you may perform a bonus attack. So you can't go around locking everything, making it, this big issue that they can. And yeah, I'm Matt. I'm gonna wager. I'll wager money on this. I'll wager one of these packs. You want to wager a pack?
No. I
Well,
don't.
come
I
on,
don't. I
let's
don't. I
wager a
don't. I
pack.
don't gamble with my money. Only my life, sir.
All right.
So,
Well, let's wager whether I can
no.
cut one of your fingers off then, or you can cut one of mine. I'll do that too.
Well, that's not my life. You crazy man. No. Anyways,
Well, a finger is your life. I'm telling you, you're gonna come in at
you're
30
probably right,
points,
Catherine.
30 to 35.
I was gonna say I was gonna guess right around the 35 realm. Now I might be wrong, obviously, but I think around 35. But you're right, Catherine. 32 to 33 might also be it. Question is whether or not. Well, and actually, honestly, how many of these ships can you get in a pack? It's just one for 2 bombers,
Just one.
correct?
Yeah,
Right.
it's just
So
one.
I'm gonna say I'd err on the side of them being cheaper.
Yeah.
Because they're gonna try to. No offense. I mean, they're gonna try to get people to buy 4 packs of them or 5 packs of them.
Yeah.
I'm not
Because if
kidding.
you look
They're
at
gonna
what's
try
the
doing
price
it.
of those SFs, what's the price of an SF? Let's look it up.
Well,
Let's
20
look it up.
bucks for an SF.
No.
You talking about an
I'm sorry.
SF?
I'm sorry. Not the
32.
price. I meant the. I'm sorry. An SF comes
points?
in at
I
32.
think it's 32. Yeah.
Yep. So
It's
these
nicer than a
are
32. They're nicer than
these
an SF.
they are.
One less
But
shield, but they have the turret.
yep, I'm wagering they're going to bring these in, the minimum ones in between 30 and 32 points. That's my guess. Could be wrong.
30. I'm going to say probably a little higher than Catherine. I'm going to say 33 to 35. But it'll be below 40. I
If
think
Matt's wrong,
looking
Matt's
at
buying
it, I
everybody
think it'll be
watching in the
sub
chat
40.
one of these. There
No,
we
I
go.
am not. Chris will, however, buy it for you if I'm wrong. So that's very nice of Chris. So yeah, no, I don't see him being less than an SF. Do you see him being less than an SF?
Yes, I think so.
You do.
I bet you will see.
You really
a
think they're
SF.
going to be less than an SF?
I think they're going to reduce the
Is
price
the
of
dial
SFs.
bad? Oh well,
No.
maybe. I don't know. SFs are pretty. I mean, you don't ever see them on the table, right? So they're probably very well priced.
Yep. All right. The next card we have is Sensor Scramblers. At setup, you gain 1 cloak token. While you are cloaked, other ships cannot acquire locks on you. All right, so that's pretty good, right? That's a pretty good thing.
Mm-hmm.
During the end phase, if you are cloaked and there is an enemy ship at range 0 to 3, you must decloak. If you do, and that decloak fails, lose 1 cloak token. This can also go on a silencer. So think of it this way. You're putting it on a silencer, or you could put this on there. So, man, if this is going to be price for a silencer, do you think this is going to even be... This has to be like 3 points at least. This has to be higher. Because this can go on either one. Or they're going to have to price it based on the ship type, which they've never done that before, ever.
Right. I've never seen that either. Well, yeah, but it's not really... I don't know. You can't fire when you're cloaked. So I'm trying to think of the advantage of this. I mean, it's interesting, right? You can decloak, which is great. Like, I see it as a bigger advantage of the decloak. That might just be me, but basically, you're coming in with a cloak token until there's another ship basically anywhere in range at the end phase. I don't know. It's just that it's the initial reposition that really is going to be really tough. I would be surprised if this is cheaper than 3 points.
Yeah, I would agree with that too. I mean, again, maybe it will be. I don't agree with you. I don't know how. I guess I'm confused when it says you must decloak, right? Like, I mean, you could just keep your cloak token forever. Like that's just how that's going to
You
work.
cannot. Now, so remember so this is like the cloaking device. I think it's a cloaking device, or it's not the
Yeah.
stealth device. It's a cloaking device, right? You know how people kind of gimmick the system by saying, "Oh, I can't decloak because I can't decloak through a cloud. Oh no, so I get to keep my cloak token because that's their whole intention is to keep the cloak token." Well, this one has removed that ability, right? You must either decloak. If you can't decloak, you just lose the cloak token. So it isn't a perpetual kind of cloak by keeping yourself next to a rock or whatever it may happen to be. So
Yeah, at the
that's
start of
interesting.
the planning phase, roll one attack Diana, eyeball result, decloak or discard your cloak token.
Mm, yeah,
So I guess
but
that's
that's
where I'm
a
confused, right? Like I guess I'm super confused by this card, and I kind of wonder what the point of this card is going to be. I mean, yeah, I'm going to get a cloak token, but how do I keep it? You know, how do you keep that cloak
you
token?
you don't. I honestly I think this is really just for using right at the very beginning. Just either using it to, well, if you have an ace, it could stop it if, like, let's say Kylo Ren is, I mean, it does keep people from target locking him, isn't that right? It doesn't stop them from targeting him. They can still shoot him, but
I see
I
this
don't
as a
know.
pointless upgrade. Why would I give my tech slot up for this? Especially because the Whisper,
So,
you have to have a special. There's a card that you
right,
need your tech slot to use that is an upgrade you want to give out jamming tokens. You know.
right. Well, I would see this personally. I would probably use it for the following, right? Let's say you start out right at the very beginning. If you happen to put this onto a ship, or let's say a squad of Signer Janus engineers, right? You could cloak them all because it's at setup. You start with a cloak. You could decloak them all 2 forward. Then you could move them all 5 forward. Then you could boost them all after a focus. And you are amazingly far down the road. DRK1 Pro
Yep.
versus Instrument. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Ewing
so
targeting, yeah. Jendon, you're right. That's also true, Catherine. Catherine said that you can also prevent early target. That can also be useful too.
I, yes and no. I guess I agree with the DK1 probe droids a little bit, but at the same time, I change my play style based on what I have. If I know somebody has a sensor scrambler, right? They're gonna
Right.
if they're gonna cloak and they're gonna come in really hard, I'm gonna that shot's just gonna be a wasted shot anyway. And if I have DK1 probe droids or E-wings or whatever, like Jendon, I'm just not gonna spend that charge. I'm gonna move everybody 1 forward or 2 forward, and then I'm gonna use it the next turn once you don't have a cloak token anymore. So I just
Isn't
I don't.
that's not the truth though either though, Chris? That they because they'll hold on to that cloak token. If you decide to do that and they didn't do that jump in, like, oh, I know Chris isn't going to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait a little bit, get a little bit better situation, and instead of doing that, they'll go like 2 forward or 3 forward or whatever it is. Let's say you did move your 1 or whatever it may happen to be. They still get to keep that token as long as they're not in range of you.
I see. All right. Well, maybe it
So
has
it
more
does give
use
them
than
that
I see
option.
for it.
I
I
don't
see
know.
that as a dumb card, personally. That's just my opinion. I think it's a dumb card.
Yeah, it's kind of a jack in the box for me. Like basically, boom, here we go. Right? That's probably all I would use it for.
All
I don't
right.
know.
Let's move on to the next. I guess I screwed up, and here's the Resistance Bomber. Resistance is Shasha Zaro. There you go. I don't know how to say that. It's the artistic ace. While you defend, you may choose a friendly ship in your 180 back arc at range 0 to 2, and one of your green tokens. If you do, that ship gains a matching token. I think
Oh,
that's pretty cool. I don't know how many points she'll
that's
be,
amazing.
but I think that's pretty good because I mean, again, you're gonna have a turret. You're gonna be able to perform butt attacks. So I don't know. I personally, I think this is a pretty good one. If it's me, I agree. I like this one. I hope they don't overcost it. Um, I don't know.
Yeah.
I like this one. I like this. I like this actually
I
a
mean,
lot.
working with that first person, I think this would be useful too. I think what they might be actually working for, Chris, is a little bit more of a symmetry feeling, kind of like the rebels have.
Hmm.
Just a different type of symmetry. but I think that they might be trying to work more on that. They don't have any Jake Farrells yet or anything like that, but some of these droids and some of these pilots that they have, they are starting to get a little bit of more of a mesh. I'm starting to see more of a mesh because it's almost like Resistance, in my opinion, has some really strong pieces, but they're almost all very like
Hodgepodgey.
almost like yeah, like solo kind of pieces, right? Like ZZ's amazing, but ZZ's always amazing. You could doesn't matter who she's with, she's always good. That piece is good. Rose is very good. She's very solid. Doesn't matter if you run it with ZZ or Covanel. It has no bearing on what she does, right? So I don't know. I'm thinking I'm seeing more of that. That's all I'm saying.
All right. The next one is Teza Naza. I don't know how to say that. Naz. I hate names so much. Why do they got to pick all these crazy names? I don't know how to say them.
Sounds right. Naz. Teza Naz. Yeah.
You know,
why not?
Like I would say Nas. Maybe it's Nas. You know, I like Nas.
Well,
Nas
I mean, great. Hit the Nas.
The Nas. Nas is back again.
So don't.
Now I'm going to get a DMCA because I'm going to be wrapping some Nas up in here.
Don't be doing that. I always think, I always think hit the Nos. Like, you ever watch Office where Dwight tells Jim to hit the Nos in the station wagon?
There you go. This ship says, while a friendly ship at range 0 to 2 performs an attack, if the defender has a ship friendly to the attacker in each of its side arcs, the attacker may reroll 1 attack dice. To me, this is dumb. This is dumb.
Way too many words. Okay, wait a second here. What do we got here?
We got an AMG. We got an FFG. It's probably FFG still. I don't like this one. Charles and I talked about this a little bit the other day. Charles thinks this is a pretty okay ship. I do not like it. I think that side arc thing is hard to trigger for both sides. But essentially, while a friendly ship at range 0 to 2 performs an attack, if the defender has a friendly defender ship on each side of it, then you can re-roll attack dice. So essentially, this is anti-swarm tech, right? That's what this is. Hey, Chris, don't bring eight droids that sit next to each other all the time. Don't land two on a rock.
Well, but you also have to drive it down their throat, too, right? Because you have to get them into those side arcs as well. But even then...
No.
You can only re-roll one dice,
It's their ship.
Right?
It's the defender. So let's say... Teza... So let's say ZZ is behind Teza.
Oh, right? Now I see
and
it. Yep.
ZZ is shooting
now I see what's going on.
FO. And there's 2 FOs next to it.
Right.
Yeah, so I don't know. I guess I don't know. Yeah. I don't like this very well either. I think this is too hard to pull off, and hopefully this is not a lot of points. And you're right. Actually, you know what? It is not the defender's friendly ship. It's friendly to the attacker. So ZZ would have to have 2 ships on the side of the attacker, which is not as hard as it looks to do, because technically the way that side arc is going to come out is if you're just offset to each of the right side and the left side, it would work. I just don't like this. This is way too situational, in my opinion. And essentially, tell me what my cost is for the I4, and if it's a cheap I4, I'm taking it. I don't care about the ability. If it lands, great. It's not X-Wing to me. So, and that's all of the new cards that we have not covered yet. So, I'm excited.
Yeah,
I find a lot of these are exciting.
It seems good. Tez is interesting. I agree with you. I'm not sure on that one. I think that one to me is kind of a no. It reminds me of it just seems too situational. It might be great, and it might be like the new meta, and who hears me talking smack. But like you said, points would matter. But even with points, I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Ship, though.
It is a nice ship. I enjoy that shit. I do enjoy those FOs. I'm very excited for Kylo to come out, especially because Kylo has 3 Force. Yeah, I know.
3 Force, baby. 3 Force.
And this is what Charles actually was talking about the other day too. Think about it. If we have 3 Force Kylo because it's a step up, right? The next phase, do we get a 3 Force Rey? Are we going to get a new Rey ship? Are we going to get like a new Rey like that comes in that has 3 Force? I don't know. That sounds pretty
I
cool
mean,
too.
hopefully not in a Y-wing, because let's take stock of how many great ships there's been in Y-wings that, like Anakin, three-force Y-wing pilot. You see that on the table precisely never, but unless people want to mess around with it, it's. I mean, it's silly, but it's just so easy to kill, and still so many points because there's so much force. Ah, well, I don't know, maybe.
Yeah,
Oh, T6,
T65 Ray. There you go.
T70
Or
Ray would be
yep.
cool.
Yes.
Ooh, I would love to see a
Oh,
T, or
how
I'll even
many?
take a T65, but T70 would be the the bomb. That
Yeah.
would be
Hold on.
great.
Let's bring Yasby back up. Let's look at some options. How about that? Let's do that,
Because
man.
I would love me a Poe Ray and two T70s.
Oh
Oh
my
yeah,
God.
with a little
Poe Ray.
ZZ for flavor. There'd be a new possibly a new Aces build out there as we talked about Aces today. Yes, Catherine, I agree 100%. If they do, however, release a T65 for Resistance, that would be an interesting thing too, kind of theory crafting there. Who else would you put in there? Maybe Chewbacca, I guess. I don't know.
I
You
don't.
never
We're gonna
see
look.
that happen.
I wouldn't put Chewbacca. I don't know. I don't know about Chewbacca. I don't know.
Well,
So just think about all the
well,
existing
yeah.
ships. What is Ray? What did Ray fly? Right?
Just the that's why Catherine actually she said in chat T65 X-wing, because she did fly the T65 X-wing. Now, generally speaking, for Resistance, you're looking at the T70 X-wing. So Catherine is saying actually like a
Oh,
re-release
give me a
of
new
the
Resistance.
T65 into Resistance as opposed to
I
a
see.
pilot pack. It's an actual ship release.
Ugh.
Very interesting.
No. No. No.
Very
No.
interesting.
I don't want that.
But who else would you put in it though? I bet you might see something solo card. Yeah, I mean, if you're talking, if you are talking about, okay, so if she's saying the T70 is what she'd mean, because the Resistance only has the T70. Still would be very cool.
I would not want to see. I do not want to see another freaking reason. I don't need another. I don't need another X-wing. I just don't. Don't give me
Well,
another
but there's,
X-wing in Resistance.
well, what other ships are you going to see though in Resistance? I mean, what do you
I
got?
think
I
now you're gonna have to
mean,
dig into the books. I think that's the problem. Now we have to dig into the books.
yeah.
We're gonna have to go
Well,
into
we
the
might be
books, and
seeing
I'd have
more
to go back
worlds,
and look. I'd have to go in and
right?
look at what the books have. Um,
Right. There might be some more stuff, but you're going to be looking. Well, we got like the Bad Bunch. That those aren't necessarily Resistance times, but I imagine that we're going to start seeing the universe expand. I mean, basically, Mandalorian is all uh, like what pre-Resistance, I guess you'd call it, but it could be Resistance. Some of the stuff that happens there, we might start seeing some of the stuff through there.
yeah. I don't know. I do
Huh.
not. I am not in favor of another freaking X-wing, though. I have enough X-wing. I don't need any
Okay.
more. What am I
All
gonna do
right.
with another X-wing?
So Catherine did clarify. She's saying that she does want a T65 Ray with a Resistance card pack, including the new Falcon with the RZ2 and T70 pilots. Yeah, I would love to see I'd love to see another Aces pack. I love the Aces pack that we got. It was awesome. I would say I'd love to see Ray in a T65, but I'm also going to say, as they haven't released a ship for the faction, I give that a very low probability of happening. Though it would be very cool.
Yeah, I am not excited. I would not be excited for that. I'm not. Just give me other ships.
I would.
God damn it. There's
I'll take a
got to be other
T70
ships.
with the.
There you go. That's going to be our goal. Okay, so let's look at that. What other ships does Resistance have that we could put in
Well,
there?
I mean, I don't know what Resistance. We might see something like the Razor Crest, though. That might come out. Um, I don't know. Where are we at with ship count on like the Republic? Well, Republic just got a bunch of new toys. Resistance just got new toys. FO just got some new toys. I don't know what we're gonna see next. We might see even some of the classic factions getting some new stuff.
Yeah. I will tell you, if I could get a Bad Batch, and I've been thinking about modifying one of my Fansa, or one of my stupid ships, my whatever you call them. I don't know what they're called now because it's way too late at night for me to be thinking that shit
Falcon?
up.
Are you talking about?
No, my Empire ships, my Lambda class shuttles, because that's what that is. That Bad Batch ship's a Lambda class shuttle, and I've actually been
Gotcha.
thinking about modifying that. just to have a Bad Batch style ship. There you go.
Well, you
That's
might
gonna
see it
be
come out though.
Yep, Lambda. Yeah,
Yep.
thank you. I don't know how to remember things. I guess at this point in my life, but yes, I would. I would
Yeah, you
like. I
might
would
see
like to
it.
modify my Lambda. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do my Lambda. I'm
Omicron.
going to modify
Yeah.
it. That's going to be my goal. I think for the next 6 months, I'll be my intro to painting. Maybe ship
Do you think
modification.
we're gonna see it though? The Omicron though? Do you think we'll see that in a different release? Maybe. I don't know. Where would you put that though? Would you put that? Because the Bad Batch came out. I bet we're gonna see some sort of release for it. Would you put it in Republic though, or would you put it in Separatist Empire? I mean, let's say we got the Omicron. Where would it go?
For me, um, I don't know. Like I hate to say this, but I would put it in Scum, and then. But this is the thing that I have. The problem I have, right, is that you almost just need it in multi factions. I don't need it in Empire. It's not an Empire ship. They don't work for the Empire. They don't work for FO. They don't work for any of those people. So it's technically going to have to either. I would put it between a Republic and a Rebel ship. That would be my guess is where it fits. It's almost really more probably gonna have to go in Republic just because technically that it's right at the end of that era. They had it in the Clone Wars, so the probability that it's going to land in Republic is pretty high. But I think it would be cool if they did a multi-pack ship where it allowed you to fly it, and they give you upgrade cards so you could fly it in Republic and Rebel. Like that would be, to me, that would be smart. And again, this is me saying we haven't seen the end of the Bad Batch. We don't know if they live long enough, right, to even make it to the Rebel era. We have no idea. You know, they did have hit. Can I say how many weeks do I have to wait for fucking spoilers? Right? Because technically speaking, there's a green.
I mean, I was going to say
Twi'lek
forever at this point in time. Yeah.
No, green Twi'lek.
Yeah,
right?
At least for a while.
There's a green Twi'lek that shows up. Is all I'm saying. A young green Twi'lek.
Okay, that's enough. That's enough of that.
Oh my god!
Anyhow, so
just because you haven't watched it, that's your problem, not mine.
Exactly. Yeah. No, I mean, yeah. And who knows? Who here hasn't seen it? Hasn't seen it? Like, I've noticed that the cartoons do have a tendency to have not. I'm not trying to say this. I'm not trying to talk smack or anything like that. But I've noticed like Clone Wars and some of those people watch them a little slower. I've noticed, but I mean that might just be my kind of.
It's just you, man. I've seen.
That's just.
I've watched the bad. I did not do the Clone Wars at first, just because I didn't wasn't into all the lore stuff quite as much. And same with Rebels. Like I didn't have all that stuff, but now that they've re-released, like I have all those networks. I went through and burned through Clone Wars twice. I've learned through Rebels once.
Right.
I'm working on Resistance. It's just not as good.
So I'm curious. What do you think about releasing multiple models of the same ship that are like the same ship, right? So you could, for instance, Omicron comes out, but it's just a Lambda class shuttle. What do you think?
You mean that I could play in multiple factions, or that I have to buy one for each?
No, it would just be. I was just saying, if you wanted it, it's just a Lambda class shuttle. It's Lambda class shuttle released as the Lambda class shuttle. You have one package has the Lambda, the other package has the Omicron. They're identical ships. They just look different.
Well, I mean, I would take two of them. I guess I already own two of those Lambda class shuttles, so
I'm just curious. I don't know. I mean, that to me seems like something like that way you wouldn't have to modify, customize your own. Like it might be a little bit of a money spinner there for as they haven't released Lambda yet. Release the Lambda and the Omicron at the same time, calling them the same ship. I mean, I'm sure there's going to be purists out there who'd be a little bit mad about that situation. So maybe
I would not like that. But I can tell you, I would 100%. If you gave me another white Lambda and release it for 2.0 and then told me, hey, this is going to come with Omicron cards in it so I can play the Bad Batch, fuck that. No, thank you. Give me a Bad Batch looking ship. The whole point of the miniatures is so I can have a ship that looks like the ship I see on the damn screen. That's all I care. That's all I give a shit.
Right?
Nothing else.
No, it's the added bonus. I'm not trying to say that. I was just curious how you felt about it. That is all.
Yeah. To me, the better benefit would be give me an Omicron ship, right? Give me that specific ship, and then tell me I can play it into several factions. Or what's another ship? Like, technically speaking, if we got a Razor Crest ship, What factions can I
That
play
might
in?
be available.
Technically,
Mhm.
I should be
Maybe.
able to play it in Scum. I should be able to play that
Mm.
in Resistance, maybe. You know, like technically that's the beginning of the Resistance right there. You know, I don't know. Like
Mm.
that's what I say. Give
I
me
think it
all of
would be
those
cool
things.
too if they gave you, like, for instance, like if they re-released, they have the, like, okay, so the Separatist fire spray, you have the Scum fire spray, they're the same ship. I'd like to see them put the dial for both ships into the thing, and the cards for both factions into a pack. I really would
Yeah.
like to see that happen for any like future release. I do like the Scum, like the Separatist one should have come with the Scum cards and the Scum dial. It costs them almost nothing, and it does add to the advantage to all the people out there playing. So when they do have to buy 4 packs of the Tie Whisper, they could be at least like, hey, but I only had to buy 2 fire sprays, and it's good for both factions.
Yeah. I don't know. That's me. That's what I would do. I hope I hope we see those type of things in the future where they don't make me buy 3 of the same damn ships for each faction. Forget that.
Right?
That's not something I care about.
You know what? You don't want another Tie Fighter model, do you?
No. So I think the last thing I don't need another TIE fighter. I don't need the TIE fighters. I don't need any more TIE fighters, and I don't need any more of the stupid X-Wings. I got enough of the damn things. To choke a horse. I literally
They're
have
technically
extras.
different. They're all so different, though. They're all so different.
I could get rid of them. Anyway, so the question now I have, Matt, is we have 10 minutes left. 10 minutes.
Mhm.
We can build you. Yeah, no more Falcons. I agree with you, Catherine. Fuck, I don't want. I literally own 4 Falcons. I don't need any
But
more.
Catherine, it's iconic.
No,
Iconic, Catherine. How are we not supposed to have one at every faction? I mean, why don't we have a Scum? Oh, wait, we do have a Scum Falcon. Oh, we should have one in the Separatist faction, too. That's it. I'm calling it now.
no. Why? No. All right. Now you're blurring the lines. You're blurring lots of lines, Matt. All right. So the question
I'm
is,
just having fun.
are you playing on Thursday, Matt? We're gonna have Matt play
I
Thursday.
cannot. I have a rehearsal dinner for a wedding.
Oh, all right.
I'm sorry.
Never mind then.
We can
So,
build you a list, though, Chris.
nope.
Would you like to have a list built?
No, I got
Okay.
I got comment. I'm doing with Paul on Thursday.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm very sorry I am unable to make that. I do apologize.
No big
I have a
deal.
wedding
So
for my cousin is getting married, and we are standing. We are the I don't know, whatever you call it, best man and best madam. Sure, whatever that is.
all
Maid of
right.
honor.
Well, we will go ahead and let's wrap the episode up then. That way we can get on, let everybody get on with their night. If you have not checked us out, we are obviously on Twitch, YouTube. We are on Podbean. We should be on all the podcast channels now. I guess I should go double check that and see if that's the case. But either which way, if you have not liked and subscribed, you're welcome to do so on our Twitch channel as well as our YouTube channel or our podcast channel of Planning Phase Syndicate. We are live every Sunday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, or what is that, 100 UTC time. And then we are going to be live playing games live on Thursday. So if you'd like to sign up, join our Discord. We might be moving to Fridays. I don't know. We haven't figured it out yet. So we're doing Thursdays for now. Because Friday sometimes is league night for me and Matt here in Grand Rapids. So sometimes we have leagues on Friday, which I actually have leagues this Friday, so I can't stream this Friday. Either which way. That being said, thank you all for joining us. We'll be back next week with another amazing episode of Planning Phase Syndicate. Have a good night.
Good night.